I would like to tell you about Deathbound. Deathbound is a Souls-like game coming out very shortly, and I actually had the chance to take a look at it right before release, and although I didn't have enough time on the game to do this as a full, formal review, I would like to do this in the form of a preview because I do have some thoughts. Firstly, Deathbound is a Souls-like, but it certainly has a twist of its own. This is a game that's incredibly dark, incredibly brutalizing, and it looks quite unique on its face. You play at first as a knight, and it seems to be a big war between good and evil here. But the biggest, weirdest twist to me right off the start was that this game takes place kind of in the modern era. I appear to be a Crusade era knight, and I'm fighting a lot of medieval creatures. The highest technology I've seen so far is a crossbow. So that juxtaposed very strangely with the cars on the side of the road and the kind of beat up and decrepit landscape that I'm going through that is clearly a nearly modern city. So we take that aside, very interesting, but we also have the other main unique twist to Deathbound, and that would be the different forms. You're able to morph between different creatures, different characters that you come across. So at first you're this kind of Christendom knight. You move on very quickly to another kind of roguish, kind of bandit character. From that we get a mage, and then on to that we get another staff user, and there's several others beyond that. But like I said, I have probably about 6 or 7 hours into this game. I believe it's probably about double that length, although it's going to be dependent on your skill level. Get good, as they say, when it comes to Souls-likes, and I'm unfortunately a bit of a casual. Mashing your way through this game can be a lot of fun, even if you are a casual. The most frustrating thing that I have to say took me out of that experience was the constant death, and worse than that, trying to find where you died. Just like a Souls game, you drop your credits, your experience almost on the ground, and you have to go recover it if you die. The problem I had is that these twisting city skyscapes are just way too confusing to maneuver. A lot of the time you're taking elevators up, elevators back down, you're dropping off of rooftops onto other lower rooftops, some terraces, you're ducking through alleyways, and a lot of this can be very confusing when you have to repeat yourself. Part of that is really frustrating. The other part of that is kind of satisfying because you end up learning some of the map, or when you push all the way through a dangerous section and you're able to find that shortcut back to the checkpoint, that makes all the difference. That refreshes me, and it gives me that same feeling that Souls games do give you when you break through that really tough boss. When you have that triumph, it really carries you on through this game to the next triumph, and that can be very, very rewarding. It can also be very frustrating, however. When you're slapping yourself against the same boss over and over again, it becomes clear that there's a huge amount of different maneuvers, different mechanics behind what you can do. You have a light and a heavy attack, of course, but each character has another set of attacks on the left trigger and bumper, respectively. These can include a lot of different spells in the case of the mage. Sometimes it's a parry if you're the knight, but it really depends on you to learn those characters and kind of balance what do you want to bring to the table. The Morph strike is also, again, another very unique aspect of this game. Midway through a dodge or midway through a strike, you hit that morph button so you turn into another character, and it kind of does like a synchronized attack, or it does a stronger attack, and you can levy that against some of the bosses that you come across, and you're going to have to, because I got beat up a lot in this game. Like I said, I think I was about 6 or 7 hours. If you're incredibly good at Elden Ring and different other Souls games, you might speed through this a little faster, but I think there's a lot of meat on the bone here. If you're a Souls-like enthusiast, I have to recommend this game. It's going to be a little weird at first, a little unique, but you stick with it, and there's a lot of rewarding experience here.